Hello Taurus, welcome back to my channel. I am Mariana and I will do the vibes inside for you today. So I'm on camera, a new attempt here, and I'm trying to make the videos a little bit shorter. So I have pre-shuffled already for your message. And I had the 10 of Earth jump out. During the pre-shuffle, and the Emperor wanted to show itself also during the pre-shuffle. So the Emperor is Aries energy, fire energy, masculine energy. It didn't jump out, so I feel like it's something that is stirring. It wants to come forward somehow and take some kind of action. It hasn't done that yet. The 10 of Pentacles flew out, and well, 10 of Earth, 10 of Pentacles is a beautiful card of abundance, cornucopia, I want to say. It's a very abundant card, meaning that it has everything. It's tangible, earthy, so it means that you can feel it, you can sense it, smell it. It touches you like something you can take in your hand. It represents everything that you can buy, everything you can own, everything that is actually you can buy with money, you could say. And Taurus, you are the second house. It has to do with sustainability, money, or maybe problems with finances, problems with keeping a job, problems with providing, problems with keeping yourself sustained somehow. This is, I want to say the 10 of Earth is like the opposite. This is where you have like a cornucopia of everything available to you that is constantly there, and like an easy ongoing flow that is available all the time of whatever you could want or desire. That's the 10 of Earth. Okay. Overall energy for you for this shuffle. For now, I have the 6 of Air. So the 6 of Air is a card of wanting to leave tumultuous waters and go somewhere else where it's more calm, more relaxed, more balanced, you could say. It is a sword, an air card, so it has to do with your mind. So let's say you have had rushing thoughts, or you have been depressed, or you've had a lot to think about, very stressed out. This talks about like wanting to get to a calmer place where you don't have to think that much. We could say that this could even be something about responsibilities. If you have a lot of responsibilities in your daily life, you would want maybe a life where you have less, where there's less to think about, less to worry about also, because the underlying energy that actually pushes this forward is the 5 here. It's the 5 of Air. So the 5 of Air is a different card. This is an underlying energy in you that has been like pushing something forward for you, and now you have the 6. The 6 tells us that you've made a decision. Like this is the next step that comes after the 5, right? When you have been in this situation for too long, you're now taking a step to leave, because this is not very nice. It's not a good place to be in. The 5 of Air here is it's not a good place to be. I see this card as this one is trying to fly like the doves, but this person is not a dove. Like they try to be, but they are too big, too clumsy. Maybe they have trained a lot. You know, they have tried to do well. They have tried to be light. They have tried to be positive maybe, or like embracing everything that is peaceful and nice and something like that. And you like trying to be a dove, but they are not like these white doves here. They're trying to fly like them, right? or looking like them. Again, like this could be someone who, well, she looks like a ballet dancer, right? So it could be someone who's tried to be slim all their life and dieting, and you know, like the way she moves is gracefully and very elegant, maybe, because she has tried to mimic the others here, right? But doing that, when she is not a dove, doing it is, it's not very easy, and it's actually betraying yourself, right? It's like you're not wanting to accept that you're not this dove, that you're not this one. And maybe these thoughts here, we could even say that this could be a card of self-sabotage. It is air again, so it sorts energy. It has to do with the way you think about yourself. That maybe when you look yourself in the mirror, you see someone who tries to dance ballet, but they are not built for ballet, right? They are not built to fly like the doves. They don't even have wings, perhaps. Maybe you don't even have wings. You are, Taurus, you are an earth sign. So if you have tried to be an air sign here, if you have tried to be a bird, or light like a feather, light like a ballet dancer, moving like that, right? Moving with that kind of grace and lightness through life, it may not have been like that. You're the bull, right? We could say that this is like the bull in a dove. I want to say mansion. I don't know why I want to say mansion, but a dove mansion. Dove mansion. Like a big residence of doves. Okay, maybe that makes sense to you, but and maybe this is how it has been for you, that you have tried to be around people like this. Like mingle with people like this who may live in mansions. But you are not that one, right? You actually don't fit in, or it feels off to you. You're the bull. Right? You are not made for flying, right? And the bull is actually extremely strong, like can really heavy weight lifting on earth here. It's a very strong, physically strong earth sign. And therefore you can use that stamina to not get tired of flying here. But because you're trying to fly, you're not walking like you would on earth with your hooves, right? And so it could be something like you feel you have big feet, right? You feel you don't have these long, elegant piano fingers, right? The way you are designed is more dense or more heavy. Like it could literally be your body image that is somehow broad shoulders, you know, something like that. Taurus men can be extremely like physically strong and work for hours, whereas a ballet dancer here would usually do their performance, but then they would need to rest. And they don't, again, they eat light, right? They, like a bird, they eat light because they have to stay light. a ballerina here, a male ballet dancer must be able to carry her, right? So there is a feeling of, I have to get out of this dove mansion because I don't belong here. And I feel awful. When I try to stay, I feel awful. Right? I feel awful trying to stay. I can't be like these doves. Whatever the dove may mean, it could be something like that these are people that are really light and easy and chatty, easygoing and chatty, and the whiteness here also kind of tells me something like, I don't know, Virgo energy maybe. Maybe you have tried to be a Virgo, another earth sign, right? But you're not. You are a Taurus, right? Virgo is, again, this whiteness. There's something about this, the highest octave of what is possible to achieve. So there's a perfectionism here. Something, it has to have a certain tune, a tone to it. Otherwise, it's not good enough. It's not perfect enough. It's not white. It's not white enough. It's not light enough. It's not correct enough. And that is a bit of Virgo, I want to say. Virgo-like thinking. The perfectionism of someone who tries to be a Virgo but is not. You could say the Virgo energy is something that wants to always perfect itself. That's why I talk with the white doves. I see them as messengers of God and something like that. And in our human understanding, there is a certain way that you have to behave to be someone like that, to be good in God's eyes. But the interesting thing, the clarifier for this, is the heart of sky here. So the heart of sky for the Five of Pentacles here, it actually talks about a different way of understanding. The heart of sky is the love force that made all creation possible. This same force is present when you create with originality, when you bring formlessness to form, or inspired ideas to expression. The primeval force does not know good or bad. It is up to us to provide the clear intention that will guide it to manifest. The heart of sky helps us call in beauty from the invisible world and birth it in the world of matter. And there is something about the matter, the tangible, with the 10 of earth jumping out, that maybe you want something to manifest here, like tangibly manifesting. Maybe it's a work thing you are pondering about, but there's something about the right intentions behind it, that you don't want to play a game here, or you don't want to commit to some situation that you don't feel you belong to. And again, when we have an idea, maybe let's say it's a product. What does this product inspire to? Will we consider it good or bad? Which frequency does it represent? So let's say if I wanna create a clothesline. So I wanna make garments somehow. What kind of garment? Elegant, baggy, erotic. what kind of association do we have when I draw my dress on my paper? What kind of associations do people get from it? Does it belong in one line or the other? Does it belong in the good line or in the bad line of people's perception? I see this here a little bit like someone who doesn't want to be try to copy other people's, style and behavior, because it's not them. Like they have realized that I may be different, but I'm still loved by God. I'm a creation of the universe, as are these doves here. And I have just as much right of being here, even if I don't apply to the so-called good. It depends on your intentions, right? What is, if you want to walk away from something here, what are your intentions? But when you walk away here, what are your intentions? I would say walking away would always, in this situation, be a good thing, because you're walking away from something that is inauthentic for you. It's not right for you. You realize that you belong to the cosmic balance, and your way of being is exactly as it's supposed to be, even though the dove tells you otherwise. The way you are is exactly what you're supposed to be. And when you walk away here, you don't want to fight with that. You don't want to fight with these doves here, right? Whether your existence is good or bad here. What do you think? When you walk away here, not wanting to be part of this group here anymore, or at least you have never felt like a dove. Maybe you are a dove, right? But or you have the ability to act as one, but you don't feel like it, right? Taurus, you are an earth sign. You want to go somewhere else where people see you for who you are. Here, the Six of Air is like, it's something about acceptance, that you want to go somewhere else where people will accept you for who you are, even though you have different ways of thinking. You may have a different, again here we could have someone who has one kind of worldview, and the doves has another. The doves have another one, right? The doves have one worldview, one way of seeing the world, and this one may have another one, but they have tried to apply, right? And now it's just like, no, I have to find my own people. I have to find my own group or my own family. This could be a family thing, right? That those around you have these very high expectations. I don't know. It could be anything. It could even be something like, we must do the right thing. That's what the doves do, right? They represent doing the right thing, the good thing. The good thing, whatever that may be. But being in service of light and good, and only doing good deeds, I would say. Or stay in the right line, meaning you're not doing something illegal. You're not doing something, I'm not saying you should do something illegal, right? I'm just saying this could be the message of those, that we have to stay in one line. We have to look in a certain way. We have to present in a certain way. We have to make certain deeds to be these. Otherwise, you may be another bird, but you're not a white dove, right? So these are good doers. They do good, or at least that's what they think they do. As I've said many times before, this idea of good and bad, I don't really buy into it that much. It depends on you. You may have a good intention, but what you're doing may not be good to everyone. I may have a good intention. What I'm saying may not be good to everyone. It depends on you, the receiver of what is done, said, implied, projected. It depends on that. And it depends on your personal situation, your growth, your age, your ability to want to listen to some kind of message. If you're not open to a message, you won't receive it. You will reject it. Because you have free will, you can reject it, right? I believe that many people are actually enabling toxic behavior in others, meaning that they believe that they are doing good because they're helpful. I'm helping my brother because he is not feeling well at the moment, so I'm helping him. Or he is blind, my brother is blind, so I do the groceries for him. Yeah, you can do that, of course. And it seems as you are a very helpful sister. But are you really? Like, in the long term, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Like, maybe here and now it's a good thing, perhaps. And in between, of course, you can maybe help with buying groceries or other stuff for your blind brother. But what if he could manage to buy his own goods by himself? If he could learn? Would that make him feel more like self-sufficient? Would that make him feel more successful on his own? That he can do that he's not dependent on someone doing it for him? In that way, I feel like I remember when I was young, like a young girl, I visited my grandparents, and my grandparents, they smoke a lot. And I was told many times I got a kind of money, and I was told that I could run down to the kiosk and buy some cigarettes, and then I could buy a lolly for myself also. And I was maybe like, I don't know, 10 years old or so. I didn't think about it. I ran down there, bought the cigarettes and the lolly, and then I went back. But what I was doing was actually, when I look at it now, like they just told me to do so. I didn't think about it as a child. Because I could have said no, right? I could have said, you can get your smokes yourself. I don't want to enable your smoking, right? But that's not how children, they don't see the world like that necessarily. So you see, there are many ways of being good doers here. But are we actually always doing good? Maybe the reason why this one looks like this is because they have realized this. That they have realized, but I'm not always doing good. When I follow these people, the tune of the mansion, the Dove Mansion, when I follow that tune, I don't think that I always do good. And because I don't think that myself anymore, perhaps, I'm leaving, right? I'm leaving this now. I want to leave. The clarifier for the Six of Air here is the Freedom card. The Murian Freedom card here. So yes, you want to be free to decide on your own what kind of, you could say, what kind of intentions are, you could say you want your own intentions to steer when you take action, right? You want to have the freedom to decide when to take action on the things that you believe are good deeds. When is something a good deed? And if you find it, that it makes sense to you, or it makes sense to the recipient, then you take action. Then you do something about it. But you want to be in an environment where you can decide on your own. You want that freedom, the freedom here, to decide on your own when to take action on something, when to do something. And when you do it, you could even say it. My intention with doing this is to help you with this. Do you want my help, right? Like, you know, we can be very clear in our communication how to do something or why we're doing something. Tumultuous water is usually not easy to see through, right? It's maybe it's muddy. It has been stirred up. It's not clear. You want to see more clearly here and make a clear decision, or you want to, you know, like look at something from different angles before you may take action on something here. You want to be able to do that without having maybe the judgment here of the doves, the mansion of the doves. I see that, like, the word the mansion of the doves is, I see it a little bit like it's almost like a movement of voices that keep, like a loudspeaker that keeps projecting the same stuff, right? It says the same thing. All of them speak the same words, and they are very, they are agreeing on this, but it may not be what you want, right? The idea of good and bad, and it depends on the intentions behind it. That someone may come around and they seem like they have good intentions. They themselves may be totally absorbed in the idea that what I do is good. I'm acting in your best interest, it may even be. But are they, right? It seems like here it feels like you no longer want to be part of that movement, that tune, that tone, that way of thinking. To me, it feels narrow-minded. It just, sorry, but it does. It feels narrow-minded that we are not considering that another person may have a different view on something. Another person may have a different view on something. I just feel like maybe we could explore that a little bit. So I have the Eight of Michael here. The Eight of Michael is usually a card of being trapped in your mind, feeling conflicted. Eight of Swords, it's like feeling you are tied to something in your mind. You just can't seem to let it go here. It says though on the card here that you can be free of whatever problems you may have here. When you put your mind to it and you remember that everything that is created from the cosmic realm is not considered either good or bad. It simply is. So it can be that the reason why you are, this feels a little bit like a mind prison, right? It's like maybe you don't want to go, like if you want to leave this, you may be on your own here, right? And maybe you will gain the freedom, but to do what then, right? Especially if you have always been part of this. How do you move on from this then? It says, make a courageous choice to change your situation. And in the moment, maybe you're not seeing things clearly, or you feel you don't see things clearly. But this is part of this. To get to a point where you see clearly, you may need to distance yourself here. The Six of Air can be that you take a trip, you know, like or you take I need to distance myself from the mansion, right? The mansion we can talk about, you know, like television, all kinds of programming that comes from the matrix, right? It's how to behave, how to be, that you follow the line of becoming the good pupil, the good worker, you know, like all this, that we have to stay in line somehow here, that this is good, like when we follow this is good somehow. But to you, it may feel like it traps you. Maybe that's what you're realizing here, the Eight of Michael, is that the projection from the matrix, what we have all learned in school and everything, from our parents, just stay in line, right? Do the right thing and be a good person, be a good, helpful, and so on. It traps us. It traps us somehow. That could be what you have figured out here. And you want to be free of that, right? There is no such thing as good or bad. It only is because we are in human form. At least in my experience. We want to stay safe. By all means, we want to stay safe. And when everything is attacking us somehow, if we feel threatened somehow, we consider it bad. No matter what it is, illness, lack of food, lack of money, lack of shelter, home, feeling homeless, exposed, stalked, abused. We consider it bad. But we also consider it good if something favors us. So if we win the lottery, or we get well again, we are invited to a party and all the food and drinks and everything there is just perfect. Perfect company. It was a good party. Because it favored us and our egos and our style of living and everything. But when we feel drawn or taken out of our comfort zone unwillingly, if something terrible and spontaneous happens to us, we consider it terrible, we consider it bad. If we lose people around us, we consider it bad. Because we have human consciousness. That's how the human consciousness exists. It's quite egotistical. It concentrates only on around ourselves. Unless you awaken to a higher consciousness, you may see it in a different way. That somehow our minds are trapped. We are trapped by a human existence because we always need to make sure we are okay and others are okay. those we depend on, those that depend on us. Yeah. I want one more card on this Eight of Michael, please. Okay, get second chakra here. This is the this is the womb, you could say. It has to do with creativity. It has to do with life sustaining energy. It's where we draw upon new ideas, new creative ideas, that can take you away from the mansion, perhaps, right? That can free you. That can free you here. So you get away from the mansion or the matrix, you could say. But then what? Then what? Then you need something here. And that could be where you are kind of sitting at the moment, that you know you need this great idea, but it's not flowing. That you don't feel it's there right now. That you're conflicted in following maybe what your creativity, where it wants to lead you. Maybe you are not quite sure you can trust it. The idea you have, if you have one, you're not quite sure maybe how to get it or to do it, or whether it will actually fulfill some kind of need. How do I get my freedom here if I don't know exactly what to do now? I had the Emperor come out, right? And I had the Ten of Earth. So you want the cornucopia, you want the freedom, you want to be your own master, perhaps. Like the leader of your own life. You want that freedom here, right? But you don't know how to get it. You don't know how to activate perhaps this. Or you're trying to activate it or figure something out. But feeling a bit limited, I want to say. Maybe limited is a good word. Limited as to whether this will be something that people like. Again, because I feel like you are an outsider here. You have different interests. It could be that the plan or the idea that you're working on here, or the thoughts that you have, that you're not sure whether, it doesn't fit in the matrix. It's alternative perhaps here. It doesn't fit in the matrix. And if it doesn't fit in the matrix, how will people perceive it then? Will it ever be like a potential, you could say, business model? Could you literally have customers for this? As I said, if you have a product, how will it be perceived by others? How will it be perceived by others? If people are considering it good or bad? Maybe you are in a niche here, like a niche of, I don't know, a niche. I think a niche, there's some kind of niche here that has a certain audience or a certain customer group here. And you are not quite sure how to... The plan is not quite clear in your mind, I think. And maybe that's why you need to get away here. Because or you need maybe just, a I need to get myself away from the matrix and the idea of what people like and don't like. I need to, this could be some like a retreat or something, right? You get yourself away from the influence here. Because this influence, when it is a 5 here, when it is a 5, sorry, it's just fell on the floor here. When it is a 5, it's a limiting way of thinking. And the heart of sky here tells us that there is no right and wrong here. You are not right or wrong, you just are. And therefore what you are is just as liable and okay as everything else. In the greater balance of everything, you have your place exactly where you are. But this feels a little bit like, I can see that the ship is on water, but actually I feel like it's flying. Maybe you want to fly somewhere. You want to fly off in your own dreams or in a dream space. You want to meditate or something. A place where you are, where everything is calm, where there is no criticizing, no judging, or again here in the mansion, it could be that people don't like your idea. Right? That if you present your idea, they would just laugh at you or something. And I think that, I don't think that's true. I just think that you are, it's a niche somehow. You're wondering whether it will be something that people would actually embrace. The sacral chakra is well, as I said, it's the womb. It's the place of creation where everything is created. And interestingly enough, we have already had the heart of sky here. The heart of sky says exactly that. The heart of sky is the love force that made all creation possible. The same force is present when you create with originality, when you bring formlessness to form, or inspire ideas to expression. This primeval force does not know good or bad. It is up to us to provide the clear intention that would guide it to manifest. The heart of sky helps us call in beauty from the invisible world and birth it in the world of matter, right? I feel like you are in some kind of discussion here between those two, whether something you have in mind is good or bad, whether it would be profitable perhaps. I had the 10 of Earth fallout and Emperor. I do think it's not a bad idea, whatever you are looking at here, it's not a bad idea. You may need to know, like the womb, it's the creation process can take a while, right? Like creating a baby, it takes a while, maybe to, like tune it and feel into it, and maybe that's why you need to leave here a little bit. You need to tune it to, like, like, how do you market this also? And again, what are the intention? Do you only want to make money? Or do you want to, let's say you want to create cornucopia on Earth. Okay, what does that look like? And again, it will apply to a certain group of people, not everyone, but let's just, if you think out of the box there, right? You want to create what could be cornucopia for you. What if there were other people there who liked it as well? You know, people like different things. And again, is it good or bad? I think that if we are into something alternative, niche, now I get something like, if you are wanting to develop a product for like a handicapped child who has, you know, like maybe a rigid way of moving, or it would be in this world here, it would be considered rigid, right? Because this is the white dove mansion. And in the white dove mansion, you only have perfect people, right? But let's say you have a disability, or you know someone who has a child perhaps, and you want to develop some kind of product that could help them, right? Because they're moving in a certain way, you want to help them. Or you want to create some kind of maybe pacifier to give them some kind of security, feeling of comfort, you know, or comfort blanket or something. You want to create something that has, the comfort is to be that it's helpful, or the intention is that it's helpful somehow, but maybe for people who are in an alternative situation, or an alternative mind space, you know? They think differently, they operate differently, the rationality is different or something. I feel like you're not quite sure, right, about this yet. I feel like it's growing somehow here, but you are kind of, maybe you feel limited by the way you have been thinking, right? That because you grew up maybe in that kind of mansion here, it has limited you also, and is limiting all of us in acceptance and tolerance, maybe, right? For the Eight of Michael here at the bottom of the deck here, I have the Empress. So the Empress is wanting to come forward. She's a driver here for the Eight of Michael. The Empress is extremely beautiful and very creative, very motherly, very feminine, very receptive. So there could be something about, and that corresponds very well with the with the sacral chakra here, the womb, the pregnancy. The Empress is usually depicted as a pregnant woman in many tarot cards. These two go together, right? So it seems like that an inner Empress here, and that's you, Taurus, right? This is you, right? The inner Empress here wants to come forward and build something, create something, be this creative mother of something here. But something is limiting you from getting there, at least for now. The limiting thinking here is not making an idea come forward, or a beingness. This is very yin-like, right? She's receptive, and then she receives seeds, and then she builds, right? It could be that the feeling of receptivity is a bit blocked here, perhaps. or limited somehow. And it could be because there is this idea of what is good and bad. Whether you are in the right line, you know, like yeah, it feels a little bit like I did say it, didn't I, earlier on, something like, is it elegant garments? Is it business garments? Is it erotic garments? And I kind of lean to this erotic part, right? The erotic part of the feminine. I'm not quite sure, but you know, something that is, it's considered, depending on who you are, of course. If you come from this mansion, it's definitely considered bad. That's not how to dress, right? That's not how to be. That's not how to act. It's not how to express yourself. In the White Dove Mansion, you can express yourself like that. But I think you are considering something here. You're considering something, and you're still conflicted, like your mind is still conflicting you, whether you should take that action or not. Because it could be considered bad, right? It could be something like, I said, disabled children. Let's say you have a family member that is retarded, but they still have an adult body, they still have sexuality. How do you deal with that? You know? How is it okay for a retarded 30-year-old man to express his sexuality? That would be an alternative world. The intention behind it could be good, right? Because you would just want them to be able to have a fuller life, a fuller way of, a freer and fuller way of being. But they may have a rigid way of doing it, and that's just how do I create a place where this can be okay? Or how do I create a product or a thing that can help them? Do you get my point? I hope you get my point, that the intention behind it is not, it's an acceptance, right? An acceptance of a human being who is different, but still has a human experience, and still has a gender, and still has a sex drive, perhaps. How do we do that? That could be this alternative world of something. Just an example. But again, if you grew up in the White Dove Mansion here, you probably could still yourself be conflicted about this. Whether this is something you want to step into and own. Let's say you become the business owner of a product here. How do you explain that to people, right? Not wanting the prejudice or not wanting the thoughts that they have. Okay, so this is what I have. It actually feels a little bit not like a general reading, more like if Taurus currently is in a process, we have Venus retrograding, right? In the sign of Leo, which is definitely an Empress energy, taking leadership, you know, like really growing, maturing something, having a mature, evolved consideration about a certain topic, Yeah, that's what I feel like. But still maybe feeling a bit conflicted by it. How do I maybe say this, or how do I convey it in a way to people? Yeah. I feel like very much taking ownership of the feminine energy of the I want to say the fire in the womb here, right? Accepting these parts of you, and that you have this thought, and what are the intentions behind what it is that you're trying to explore. It could be something like, now I'm putting another one out there, like this one feels that, well, feeling tied up, feeling restricted in some way. It could be that you're thinking about wanting to help people, maybe women that are in some kind of restricted, limited. Now I see the burqa, like in a society where women, the expression of women here, or the pregnancies of women is limited, or women as such, and their ability to express their own sexuality perhaps is limited somehow. Again, because when you grew up here, you know what that feels like. I think that in the white dove mansion, you can only be in a certain way. Right? You can only be in a certain way here. Maybe you have a different sexuality, or at least a different way of seeing things. Okay, this is what I have. I wanted to do shorter readings, but still I'm around 1 hour in. I'm closing off the reading now with just one more card here for you. So I get the journey to wholeness here. Again, I feel like the Empress is like, you could say, the wholeness, right? She is the top evolved feminine Taurus energy, right? That maybe you are on your own journey towards some kind of healing, or you want to help others come towards, I hear a sacredness, sacred femininity, or something like that. Because what does that mean exactly? Again, in this mansion here, it's probably said that there's one way, only one way. But what if that is not true? What if it depends on the intention behind it, right? That's what I have, Taurus. I don't know, but I hope it helped somehow, that it was an inspiration. At least the thought about the good and bad here is interesting, I think. Needing the tolerance in the world, and the acceptance of all kinds of expressions here, right? That we all want a sense of wholeness, and most of us do feel that we are separated from something. So what it is you're working towards is I definitely feel like there is something about the yin energy here that wants to come forward, that wants to be balanced, that wants more acceptance here, that wants more freedom. It could be like sexual expression. We have that, already had that a lot, right, in the 60s and so, but this is, but we do not live in the 60s. But there may be, you know, like there may be areas, groups, where there is an openness to something, right? To something you may be interested in as well. So you take that how it resonates, Taurus. I hope this helps somehow. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel if you like what I do, and share it with others if you feel like it could help them. I wish you my very best here for you. I send you love and light as always. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.